What's up guys, it's Cody here. And if you guys didn't know, the Apple event was today. So at that Apple event, they announced several different things, all of which I'm going to be talking about in this video. So the most notable things we're going to be talking about is the iPhone 8, the iPhone 8 Plus, and the iPhone 10. So it's not being called the iPhone X. That X is Roman numeral for 10, so they're calling it the iPhone 10. It seems like nobody wants to have the 9th iteration of anything. You don't have Windows 9, that doesn't exist. You don't have the iPhone 9. Everybody's just skipping 9 for some reason. I don't know why that is, but it's happening. So if you missed the Apple event, go ahead, sit back, relax. I got it all covered for you. I'm gonna hit all the highlights that you guys missed. And of course, I'm gonna be doing some additional videos where I'm going into a whole lot more depth into these specific products right after this video. So if you guys want to stay up to date with all of that, make sure you subscribe, and I'll be getting those videos out shortly. All right, so let's start with the Apple event. So before we get into the hardware and the new products that we're going to be getting from Apple this year, let's talk about software. And really all that we're going to talk about is release dates. So for iOS 11 and watchOS 4, we're looking at a launch date of September 19th. So you can expect to download and install iOS 11, and if you have an Apple Watch, watchOS 4 on September 19th. And of course, I'll be covering those as well once they're launched. Now that we're gonna start talking about products, I will say that a lot of this stuff leaked. A lot of it leaked. Most of it leaked. But there were some surprises. Some of them not so good, but there was a pretty cool announcement that nobody knew about, and it's pretty cool. We'll get into that towards the end of the video. But let's go ahead and start talking about Apple Watch Series 3. So this was something that leaked and something that I covered on the channel a few days ago. Let's talk about specs and features of the new Apple Watch Series 3 and what you're gonna get with watchOS 4. So the main selling point of this new Series 3 is that it has cellular capabilities. Now, the downside for this is that you're you're absolutely going to have to purchase a cellular data plan for your cellular watch. So I'll go through all the features that you get with this device, and you guys let me know if this is actually worth it to you. Now, we don't know what type of pricing we're gonna get with these cellular plans. It could be 10 bucks a month, it could be 20 bucks a month. I have no idea. Only time will tell when it comes to that. But with cellular capability, you're gonna be able to call anybody that you want to right from your device while you leave your phone at home. You can do everything right there on your watch. So you can call people, you can text people, you can talk to Siri, and with the new hardware that we have in the Series 3 watch, Siri's gonna actually be able to talk back to you. And something that I think is awesome, that is something that I've always wanted to do, is being able to stream music from your watch. So I don't have to bring this thing around if I want to go for a run or if I want to go for a bike ride. I can just tune in to my Apple Watch and listen to the music directly from that. That way, this big old gas guzzler, I can leave at home. Of course, Apple only mentioned that you're going to be able to stream 40 million songs over Apple Music, which is a service that I don't have and I don't purchase, and one that I don't plan on purchasing. But I use Spotify every single day, so I'm assuming that it's going to work for that as well. They're not going to have some type of, proprietary BS where you only can listen to Apple Music. That would be pretty crazy. I don't think that's going to happen. In Series 3, Apple Watch also has a brand new W2 wireless chip, which is 85% faster and 50% more efficient. Now, there's a whole lot more hardware inside of the new Series 3 Apple Watch because it's a cellular device. So when you compare the last generation Apple Watch to the new Series 3, there's a whole lot more components in that Series 3. You would expect it to be a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker. Well, they actually said that it's the exact same size as the housing of the last generation Apple Watch. You're also gonna get a brand new color for the Series 3, and that's going to be a ceramic gray. So I think the ceramic white is still going to be there, but if you want to try out a new color, ceramic gray is where it's at. So again, you're gonna have to purchase a plan with this, so I don't know if I'm on board with that just yet, but if you do want to pre-order this, pre-ordering will start on September 15th, and then you can actually pick them up on September 22nd. All right, so that's all for the Apple Watch Series 3. Let's talk about the brand new Apple TV. So this is the Apple TV 4K. Now, I'm kind of a pixel snob. I won't watch anything under 1080p. But when I have the chance to watch something in 4K, just because it's not widely available everywhere with every show that I want to watch, but when it is, I'm all about it. 4K is awesome, and now that 4K capability is coming to the Apple TV. In terms of design of the actual product, it looked exactly the same from the screenshots that they were showing. There was talk about having a 3D touch capability on the actual remote. So that's still yet to be seen. We'll have to find out about that a little bit later on. But you do see a little white ring around the menu button on the new 4K Apple TV. So this is gonna be 4K HDR10 with Dolby Vision. HDR meaning high dynamic range, and you can tell the difference between, just standard 4K and HDR right here. Just a split down the middle where you can really see how that HDR makes all those colors really pop and stand out and just look obviously a whole lot more vibrant and a lot more enjoyable to look at. In the Apple TV 4K, you have the A10X Fusion chip. So the CPU is 2 times faster and the graphics performance is 4 times faster than the previous Apple TV. Now, the first thing that I thought about when they started talking about the 4K Apple TV is, well, is the 4K content actually going to cost more than the 1080p content? And that question was put to rest right there on stage, and they said that all of the content was going to have the exact same price, which is awesome. And also, any content that you purchase that's in HD right now, they're going to automatically upgrade you to 4K at no additional charge. So I thought that was really cool, and I definitely think it's the right move, especially if you want people to move over to 4K. Now, if we can just get everybody to start recording in 4K, everything would be a whole lot better. Apple TV is also going to be able to bring you live sports as well as live news. Now, even if you're watching a movie and your favorite basketball or football team is playing in the background, they can actually push notifications to your device telling you the score of that game. And if you want to tune in just in case it's close near the end of the game, then you can just with a tap of a button. There's also going to be an all new sports tab which you can scroll through, and it's going to have all of the scores right there listed on the thumbnail. Now, it's going to come in 2 different storage options starting at 32 gigs up to 64 gigs, and the 32 gig is $179 and the 64 gigs is $199. So if you want to pick this up, you're going to be able to pre-order on September 15th, and it's going to be available on September 22nd. So now let's get into the stuff that everybody wants to know about, and that's the iPhone 8, the iPhone 8 Plus, and the iPhone 10. First, let's talk about the 8 and the 8 Plus. So with the 8 and the 8 Plus, you actually get a new design. Now, it's not revolutionarily different, but you do get a glass back on the back of the device. Now, it's not only just for aesthetic reasons, it's really not for aesthetic reasons. The reason that they did this is because of wireless charging. So the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus will have wireless charging. But with that glass back, it actually looks a whole lot better in my opinion, especially the new gold color. So the glass back is actually pretty white. It's a really light color. And then the accents on the device, so the frame around the entire device and even around the camera lenses are accented with this gold color. I think it looks really good, and I actually wish they did it with the iPhone 10 as well, but they didn't, and we'll get into that in just a second. But yeah, the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus is going to come in silver, space gray, and what they're calling just a new gold color. Now, of course, the device is water resistant and dust resistant just because that's what our iPhone 7 is, so we would expect nothing less. But the display is going to be similar to what you have on the iPhone 7. So you still have the 4.7 inch as well as the 5.5 inch for the 8 Plus. So for the 8, we're at a 1334 by 750 display at 326 pixels per inch. And with the iPhone 8 Plus, we're at a 1080p display at 401 pixels per inch. So nothing's changed there, but something that has changed with the display is the new True Tone technology. So this is something that we saw on the iPad Pro, and now we're gonna get it on the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. So True Tone technology actually uses these ambient light sensors that measure the temperature of the light around you and then replicate that onto the display. So this basically just makes it look like printed paper if you're holding it out in front of you, and it just reduces eye strain. True Tone is kind of similar to Night Shift in just the regards that it usually makes the screen a whole lot warmer depending on the type of lighting around you. Of course, if you're like in my office and I got like purple and blue lights going around, it might look a little bit different. But for the most part, if you're using this in a normal situation, then the light around you is going to be a whole lot warmer. So that's going to be replicated on the display in front of you. And you now have new and improved stereo speakers with deeper bass and just overall better sound quality. Now we also have a brand new CPU in the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, not to mention in the iPhone 10. So this is going to be the same CPU that we're going to get in all 3 of these devices, and it's the new A11 Bionic chip. So there's 2 performance cores in this processor and 4 high efficiency cores, bringing us up to a 6-core processor. This thing apparently is going to blow every device out of the water in terms of performance. So it's going to be really interesting to get my hands on this and actually put it to the test up against some other flagships. Now on the 8 and 8 Plus, you're also going to get portrait lighting. So portrait lighting is this new software in the camera app that's basically going to allow you to dynamically change the light on a portrait mode picture. So with this portrait lighting, you can literally take out the entire background of a portrait picture. So it could be completely black and it fades in over you, and then you can change the lighting on your face to make these really nice studio style portraits. Also, the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus are going to support 4K at 60 frames per second, which will be awesome. It also supports 1080p at 240 frames per second. So we get 1080p full HD quality in super slow-mo, which is actually twice as fast than what we got in the iPhone 7. Yes, I know you had 240 frames per second on 720p, but nobody wants to look at 720p anymore these days, guys. 1080p and up is where it's at, I'm telling you. Of course, we have the entire augmented reality that we're going to be getting with iOS 11. And the new augmented reality is obviously going to take advantage of the performance of that new A11 Bionic chip. If you guys didn't see my video on augmented reality and what that could be and all of the things that's happening right now with augmented reality, check it out. I'll put it down below for you guys. I go over the top 25 augmented reality demos that are out right now. So the jump from the 7 to the 8 is actually a pretty substantial one. Not to mention you get a different look with that glass back, with that wireless charging. Again, I think that gold color just looks really awesome. That's the one I'm probably going to be going for. But if you want to pick up these two, it comes in two different storage capacities, starting at 64 gigs and the next one at 256 gigs. So the 64 gigabyte iPhone 8 will start at $699 and the 64 gigabyte iPhone 8 Plus will start at $799. And if you want to upgrade to 256 gigs, then it's going to cost you another $150. And if you want to pre-order these, you'll be able to pre-order them on September 15th and you'll be able to pick them up, or they'll get delivered on September 22nd. So now let's talk about the iPhone 10. This is the one that everybody's really excited about, myself included, just because we get a completely different redesign. And not to mention all the bells and whistles that we've been asking for, most of which have already leaked. But let's go into it. So with the iPhone 10, the front and back are all glass. So the iPhone 10 comes in silver and space gray. So there's not a blush gold that we initially thought there was going to be for the iPhone 10, which is kind of a bummer because that's the actual one that I wanted. I was really hoping that after we saw the iPhone 8 and the 8 Plus that we were going to get that same gold color on the iPhone 10. Unfortunately, that's not happening apparently. So now we have what Apple is calling a Super Retina display. So the display is 5.8 inches. It has a 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio. The resolution is 2436 by 1125 at a 458 pixels per inch, which is the highest pixels per inch or pixel density that we've ever seen on an iPhone. And of course, the iPhone 10 will have that True Tone technology that we have in the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. And just like we thought or practically knew, this display is going to be OLED. You can now tap on the device to wake it up, and to unlock your device or use Apple Pay, you're going to be using Face ID. So Face ID is practically what we thought it was going to be. It works similar to what we thought it was going to work like, and they've addressed some concerns on the security of Face ID. So one, you won't be able to unlock the device if your eyes are closed. So nobody can like hold it over your face while you're sleeping to unlock your device. You have to be actively looking at the device for it to unlock. Not only that, but they tested it on different masks. So like Hollywood grade masks used in, AAA movies, and those masks don't work with Face ID. So just to give you kind of an idea of how secure it is, Apple came to us with some stats that Touch ID, the security of it was 1 in 50,000. So out of 50,000 people, there's possibly one that could actually unlock your device with their fingerprint. But with Face ID, that number jumps up to 1 in a million. But they did go on to say, of course, if you have a twin, it's very possible they're going to be able to unlock your device. So if you have a twin, or if you have somebody, a brother, a sister that looks really, really similar to you, you might want to keep a passcode still on your device. So the iPhone 10 really has everything that the iPhone 8 had in terms of the A11 chip, the portrait lighting, and with the iPhone 10, you can actually do the self-portrait lighting, so you can use the selfie camera just because of that notch up at the top and all the sensors and gadgets that they have tucked away inside the top of the device. You can use that portrait lighting in selfie mode, or that front-facing camera. And of course, the 4K at 60 frames per second and the 1080p at 240 frames per second, that's all going to be standard on the iPhone 10 as well. They did talk about animojis, where you're going to be able to express yourself through emojis. You can send the actual emoji talking to other people in iMessage, or if you just wanted to, make a sticker where you smile and the emoji smiles, then you can use that as a sticker and just place it in iMessage like you normally would in iOS 10 on your iPhone 7. Now, if you want to pick the iPhone 10 up, then you're going to be looking at a 64 gig device or a 256 gig device. And just like the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, you're looking at a jump from 64 gigs to 256 gigs of $150. So the iPhone 10 is going to start at $999, and if you want to get the 256 gig, then it's going to cost you $1,149. So we're talking a lot of money for the iPhone 10. But you can pre-order the iPhone 10 October 27th, and you can pick it up on November 3rd. So that's all I got for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys want to stay up to date with everything Apple or any other tech that I want to talk about, of course, I'll be doing a whole lot more and going a whole lot more in depth of these devices and what we can do with them in later videos today. So if you want to see those, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.